Hello, this is High Templar. Welcome back to my Total War Warhammer news video. And today we'll be talking about the Trog campaign. There was a new video released on Total War official YouTube channel, and that is Trog campaign, and it has a lot of information, so it will take me a bit time to convey all of it. So, we are starting from some news, and there are stats for new units that we know that weren't shown before. And this is, for example, Marauder Hunters with Javelins, which we know already they were there, doing 15 anti-large damage and some 35 damage as well, but only 90 range, same as, well, actually slightly more than in Total War Rome 2. But as you can see, those guys are not very good at fighting, where they have a decent melee attack, they have very low defense. But there is something about defense of those guys that is, the Trog himself makes them smaller, so be mindful of that. Trog seems to make an attack of his units larger and defense smaller, but not all of them, you will see that. Then we have Norsca Ice Wolves, and you will have the same. You will see the same effect here. And the Ice Wolves, there is only 40 of them. This is this unit here, right here. But he was just moving his cursor very fast, so I managed to capture all of those. As you can see, they are quite expensive, and there is only 40 of them, but they have decent health for such a unit. Very nice speed. No armor, obviously, but also nice attack, decent charge bonus and weapon strength, and doing frostbite, which is very, very useful if you want to catch any cavalry. That is pretty brutal. If you have a unit that is doing 100 and can do a debuff, speed debuff on other units, they would be doing wonders with the spearmen. Now, we also have Norsca Warhounds, which are, Warhounds. Nothing very particularly cool about this unit, but still, they are also very, very fast. We can see that the Trog already is doing something to them that will make them faster, and like I said, more attack, less defense. Then we have Norsca Trolls, and the Norsca Trolls have, they are trolls we know and love. However, the upkeep is only 162. They seem to be doing very well with those buffs, with 60 melee attack and defense. And there is also Feral Mammoth, which was something interesting. That was in different part of the video, as you can see, but I just needed to move that here so you will see he is in all its glory. And still, Feral Mammoth, so this is the lowest Mammoth that you can get on level 4, and seeing how those guys are built, you will get to level 4 very soon, sooner than with other factions, and I will explain why later on. So this guy has more than 1200 health and still very low armor, but apart from that, he seems to have very large weapon strength and very nice charge bonus. So he will be, I think, in my gameplay, before I will get war variety, they will be my main breaking force. Maybe even instead of infantry line. We'll have to wait and see. And also the Ice Trolls, interestingly so, the Ice Trolls do not have this negative defense buff. Debuff, but they do have very strong melee attack, and they do have more weapon strength than the Trolls themselves. So as you can see, there is a difference between Trolls, Norsca Trolls and Norsca Ice Trolls, because those guys are doing 100, whereas normal Trolls were doing 86 armor piercing. So, and frostbite. So yeah, pretty nice unit indeed. Now, the Trog himself has lots of very interesting attributes. As you can see, he is, for example, adding +10 for Norse Trolls and Ice Trolls attack, but also +4 for all skin wolves, and yeah, in general there are some campaign movement range like immune to attrition, which we know there will be. We will know they will work like that before we've seen that. And there is lots of abilities here for this guy. He has some mutant regeneration, which will be additional regeneration to the one that his pro already have. He will have some buffs for his units, as you can see, very short tree, actually 2 of them, but this will be 2 short trees, one it seems for attack and one for defense, and he will have both of them, will be able to use them, whereas other lords will not be able to do that. I will show you that in a moment, but this makes him a pretty powerful commander indeed. Yeah, and we also have, however, when it comes to his own buffing, he would be very powerful. We can make him with Scarred Veteran Woundmaker. We can make him very powerful indeed. Now, for the first abilities that we've seen, we know that on the maximum level of Icy Rat, which we can get very fast, he's adding additional 20 leadership for trolls and 15 melee attack for trolls and ice trolls, which is absolutely crazy. It is absolutely insane. And there is even more to it, because it's not the only bonus he has for trolls. It would seem that this guy is much more focused trolls than we have seen before, like with Kolek, who has limited bonuses to Shy Gods, whereas this guy has lots of bonuses to trolls, a lot more than other lords. As you can see here, where we can get +15 melee defense for trolls and missile resistance as well, which is useful when your guys have armor of 30. So, pretty intense, I would say. With both of those buffs, those guys have +15 attack, +15 defense, and +20 leadership, which is the weakest point, and missile resistance, which is also one of the weakest points. If you shoot them before they get into the fight, they will be in trouble, and you want to get those Norscan trolls in the fight for as long as possible. Now, the Copious Vomit is interesting, but it doesn't work as we would expect. It's actually a magic missile with a range of 100, and he can cause magical and fire damage. It is interesting though that we can see that it is both powerful and explosion and strong versus single combatant, but we can only use it 3 times. However, with very short cooldown of 45 seconds, so that's nice. We do have 2 buffs that we can put on our guys. One is Stun or Die, which we know, and the other one is Fight or Die, which will, instead of busting defense, will be buffing our melee attack by 27, which is quite a lot. So it is very useful to put this guy in the army. We will see if it is similar for the Wolfreak, but if it is the same, that is giving us some pretty remarkable ability to buff our guys. We also have something called Master of Fen, which will be adding additional Firmil, Battlefield, and +5 to the ranks, which is a very nice buff indeed. And we can get it because we do need this Lightning Strike. So +5 from the very start, +5 ranks, that means our guys start with 6 ranks already, level 6, 5 abilities, which is very nice because this is very powerful heroes, and getting additional +1 for each army would be very cool. Usually you don't want to have too many casters, but these guys also can fight, so yeah. Mutant Regeneration will give your replenishment casualties for all Norscan trolls and female warriors as well, which spawn from the same building, plus 25, which is insane. Absolutely insane. King of Trolls will give you additional minus 10% of upkeep for all Norscan trolls and female warriors. So you can see the pattern here. It is a powerful buff. Now the next thing that we will talk about is this. So the gods, the Norscan gods, pretty much the same as you have with Britannia. You can gain some buffs, but you can gain buffs with multiple of them. However, it will be more problematic as you go, because as you can see, you can get Serpent Favor plus 6, but every time you build this plus 6, the other one will have plus and minus 2. So it's relatively easy to build to get maximum with 1, and it's doable with 2, but yeah, later on, and it would be impossible to make 4 of them. I would argue it would be pretty much unreasonable to try to get 3. Well, because it would take a lot of time. Doesn't make sense. But you can get 2, and it wouldn't be even that problematic because you cannot go below 0. And getting 1 would be pretty easy. So you can get those favor by raising your settlements and doing this in well, pretty much anywhere. But you should not do it in Norsca like this guy is doing here. You should really not do it in Norsca, because that would be not very beneficial for you. You will have a lot of lands outside of Norsca that instead of getting outposts, you will be able to just raise them. Alright, so Norscan settlements are valuable, you should occupy them. And it is interesting that this, I have not blurred it, they blurred it, and this is basically what you are getting if you want to get allegiance with the Hound on the maximum level, and this is unit experience per turn plus 100, which is a really powerful buff. Weapon strength plus 10 for all military units, which is insane. Very cool indeed. Then what you can get with the Crow is -4 wound recovery and plus 20% casualty replenishment, which is also very nice. But also, there will be devastating plague unleashed upon the world, and your faction will be immune, which is insane. I just need to say that it is insane. And as you can see with the Crow, he already achieved level 1 with 44 points, and 100 points is maximum, so you don't have to raise that many shrines. For the Eagle, you get some additional magic, additional research rate, which is nice, and the Lord of Change, Asric the Mazekeeper, will be fighting for you, which is, crazy. And finally the Serpent, which will give you upkeep for all land units -10%, and Lord's recruitment +5, and Specialist Chaos Sorcerer will be recruited to fight for your faction. So all of those are very nice, and you have to choose which to take, and you can see that all of them are very tempting. There is no obvious choice. Now, when it comes to the armies, they do seem to have normal stances. As you can see, this guy was just in raiding camp here, and he was both raiding and replenishing. But what is interesting, Stamped Ambush is not that cool. He can go to the maximum of his movement and still raid, which is, seems that it will be one of your main way to get money. And this is the guy in the raiding stance, which will give immense public order debuff and some basically ambush defense chance, but on the other hand he has some growth and some money. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Alright, negative growth for the other guys. Right, so yeah, but this is very nice. You will be able to get a lot more raiding than with any other faction so far. Now for the buildings, we have the major building that you need to take in mind is, actually there are two. One is Plunder Hall. Plunder Hall because it will give you buff to research, growth and upkeep for all the units. And as you know, for each minor building you only have 3 slots. So building a Plunder Hall and your main money building would be very, very beneficial to you, especially with the next one is a port. So you know, pretty much given. But this is getting plus 30 growth and plus 7% research rate and minus for your upkeep. The more army you will have, the more armies, the more powerful armies you will have, the bigger the bonus would be. Yeah, and Obsidian would be a new thing that you will be getting. This Dragon Glass, but this time it will not be used for fighting the walkers, it will give you some income. So this is very, very similar as Iron, but it will get your minus 5% for all building faction wide. So yeah, this is also very, very useful to have, and you can trade it. And the Mammoth building you will get at level 4 of the settlement, and you can get those Feral Mammoths and War Mammoths if you have Ruinous Kill. Yes, so that means you can get a War Mammoth on this level if you get Ruinous Kill, which is pretty insane already. I mean, the War Mammoths are crazy. Slaver Camps is your main money generating building, and you should build it. It gives you plus 300, but also this additional money from raiding, additional money from sacking, and this is faction wide. So if you have 20 of those, your raiding income will be increased by threefold basically. Plus 200% is 3 times as much money from raiding, and raiding is very easy. So you can see how this faction might, from this what I see so far, might seem a bit unbalanced. Wouldn't you agree? Ruinous Stables, it will be your... all the buildings are revamped. You will have one building for cavalry recruitment, no longer different for marauders, on horses, and this one will also give you marauders Ice Wolves, which is nice as well. For your this is for your Summon Sorcerer 3. There's really nothing interesting here. This guy can get a Warhouse Marauder Chariot. We already know that he gets pretty normal thing for the Metal 3, and then he has some abilities that will be able. Zap is nice. Yeah, that's plus 15 to kill, but apart from that, it's not. I wouldn't go for Adept because it's assault a unit, so only a single unit will be assaulted. I know that some of you might disagree, but this is very situational and, in my opinion, not worth getting into. Now the next one would be Skinwolf Werkin. This is also an agent, and as you can see, armor piercing anti-large agent, which lot of speed, leadership, armor and everything. This guy is very, very dangerous, and you can make him very, very powerful. You can either pick between attack or defense buffs, pretty much the same as with the elves you would get. And for the Twisted Flesh, for example, you start with plus 6 armor, which is not that great for Vicious Assault, as you can see. Plus 8 melee attack. And the final bonus in here would be plus 18 armor, which is, plus 18 armor for all those guys that are marauders would not be nothing, and additional plus 11 missile resistance, which is always nice. And for Frenzied Assault will give you plus 16 melee attack and plus 36% charge bonus, which is nice as well. It's basically, what do you want to pick? Do you want to crush your enemies or just be more, just be able to stand there for a bit more? It's up to you. Now, for the Trog, you can also build a special building that you can only build if you take Erengard, and this is Cave or the Rocky Throne, which will give you more buffs to the trolls. Recruitment minus 20%, unit experience plus 3% for all trolls, this time without female warriors, and you can recruit Norscan trolls and female warriors from that building. So yeah, pretty nice indeed. Now for your normal general, this is Marauder Chieftain, as you can see, and you can pick, this is very interesting mechanics actually here, although the guy is pretty buffy. I mean, only 50 armor, but he has a very nice attack, and he has very nice weapon strength and very nice charge bonus, although he has on the horse. But still, it is pretty decent unit if you want to fight. Now, you can get to pick between the buffs from one of the 4 gods. If you pick one, you cannot pick the other ones are blocked. And for example, this one is going to make you more buffy. This gun we are going to make him better in attack. This one is for, oh well, I will actually let me show you the last. This is only for speed, right? Oh, the Fearsome Warriors, this is what I wanted to show you as well. So this is buffing, for example, this is buffing, this is 2 different buffing trees, and it seems that was for attack, that was for defense, but it would seem that the Fearsome Warriors will give you on the first level plus 5 melee attack for Berserkers and plus 5% weapon strength. So pretty powerful buff indeed, making those Berserkers really nice. And as you can see, you can also buff champions. So yeah, seems like very powerful buffing tree. Maybe not as much as we have with the Wood Elves, but still very nice. And this tree is starting from speed, so it's much worse than Indulger on all the Drinker of Blood. This one gives you additional charge bonus, so this is not very powerful. But what I wanted to talk about is the last skills. And last skills, this one will give him Berserker Rage. So, you know, the longer he stays in a combat, the bigger the buffs, and additional plus 16 melee attack to the melee attack that he's getting from the Blood Drinker, and additional leadership and physical resistance. Very nice indeed. From the Plague Ogre Crow, he will have poison attack, regeneration, and yeah, so that's also nice. From the Sorcerer, he will get magical attack and fireball, which is meh. And Seduction of the Serpent, which will give him additional to this more health, and it would seem more leadership. He will get even more leadership and 27 defense, which is an augment that works only for 20 seconds for him with every 90 seconds. But he also have Discourage minus 16 leadership, which is a very powerful ability if you remember the Grombrindal. Very powerful. You can see my mechanics videos when I was talking about this Discourage ability. Very powerful indeed if you can use it correctly. Riders of Distraction, which will be a buff from this tree, is giving some additional bonuses, weapon strength and melee attack for Marauder Chariots, which I don't think is that useful because you will not have that many chariots as you have, for example, Berserkers. Or maybe you will, I don't know. The other very cool thing about the mechanic about the Norsca would be the Monstrous Arcanum. So you have to unlock it, and it will take some time. For this guy it took him 30 turns to unlock it, but you can get, well, like a special quests really, like Hunting for the Ancient Worm, which will give you plus 10,000 for the treasury and a special item. And you have several of those, but you can get only 3 new monster hunts per level of this tech. So for example, for this one you need to have another one tech, which is called one with the beast, and then there is another. To win the ultimate campaign victory, and this is already ultimate, you need to achieve level 3 allegiance with at least one of the gods, defeat all challengers sent against you, because, you know, the other gods will be sending challengers against you, and destroy Norsca, well, or for the Trog, that is, I believe for the Wolfric it will be the Trog tribe, and then the Empire and Bretonia. Now let's go into the technology. There is lots of technology for those guys. You can go to War Tools, Monster Hunts, or the General Marauder tree. And for example, for the Marauder tree you are basically specializing against some or other enemy, which pretty much we've seen already in with few other factions. Now, for example, getting to the last of the Secrets of Gork and Mork will make you immune to attrition for all your forces, got additional plus 20% for all the magic reserve, which is very, very cool, and income from the past battle loot plus 50%, which is crazy. For example, getting into the Empire, raising the Empire will give you plus 5 melee attack fighting the Empire forces, which is also very nice, and Lord Aura size, and upkeep for all Marauder unit minus 10%. Crazy again, because I would assume the champions are also here. So yeah, this buff is crazy. Or when you want to fight with the dwarves, when you will have plus 10% of weapon strength against the dwarves, but also plus 10% leadership and vigor loss reduction for your cavalry unit. Yeah, I don't think this is as good as worth fighting the Empire, especially with that Empire is really, really large and you will fight it a lot, including like Kislev, for example. And you need to get through it with the Master of the West, which will give you some increased income from sacking by 50%, which you already seen some abilities that it will give you even more from raiding and sacking, so you can see it is a lot of money for this faction if you use that correctly. For the War Tools, for example, which is very, very powerful as well, you are getting, I don't know what War Tools gives you per se, but I don't know that the Metal Worker Anvil will give you plus 5 armor for all Marauders, and you can get it pretty quickly, it's only 5 turns. And Blade Work Hammers will give you plus 10% for their weapon strength, which is crazy. Again, this is for all Marauders, so you have to get it. You have to get it unless you are, you know, troll. Also, we were able to see this mechanics with you defeat the leader of the faction, doesn't matter how powerful he is, how many armies you have, he has to go into the Confederation with you, and you can also squeeze some money out of him before he does that, so nice. And this is pretty much it. So that was a quite long video, but I hope you like it. We learned a lot about how this will work for us, and I cannot wait to see how these factions will really work. I think they might be a bit toned down, because so far they seem to be very, very powerful, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'm not seeing everything there. Obviously, from the economy point of view, it seems that they are decent, but not as powerful as, say, Bretonia, if you play her correctly. But still, pretty nice. I like it. I do like it. It's that the more aggressive you are, basically the faster you will grow, which is another thing that is very cool, at least for me. That's how you are supposed to play the Norscan tribes. Like, win or lose, leave the settlement, allow it to be taken by other, but just get another tribe to confederate and get back there. Pretty much what I would do. We'll wait and see, because I will be playing that as soon as it will come out, and yeah, you will be able to see that on my channel. Thank you for watching, hope you like it. If you did, press like, comment if you will, and see my other videos. In Total War Warhammer, I'm doing some mod reviews, mechanics videos, but also let's plays in Total War series and other games. Thank you for watching, and see you later.